Good evening. We're back. Lee Judges TV. We've had a little bit of a break, but we're back. International break is over. Talking about international break, I've done a little video with BetVictor this week talking about England. Can they win the World Cup? Obviously, the booing with Harry Maguire. Here's a little clip. Take a look. See what you think. Don't forget, go over to BetVictor and have a watch.
Lee Judges, tell me why you believe. Or do you
I don't believe. I don't believe.
What?
I don't believe England will win the World Cup. I think we've got some fantastic players, but the one thing that was stopping us, I believe, is Gareth Southgate is far too cautious, and that is my worry. I think we've got the best players. We've got. I just think that we've got good midfield players. We've got a very, very good young squad full of experience as well. But unfortunately, I just think with Gareth, he just is a little bit too cautious, and that will stop us. And like it did in the Euros, and I don't think in the games that I've watched, I still don't think he's changed that much, guys. And that's my honest opinion. If he was a little bit more braver, I would think we would do. But I just think he's the one person that's going to stop us.
There you go, Gareth Southgate. So listen, I still believe that. Even I actually was fortunate enough to go to Wembley yesterday and watch the game, and I still felt that they were far too cautious. But there you go. That's another day, another story, and we can go on for that. Listen, today though, it's all about the Arsenal and some fantastic artwork, and we've got Francesca, who I don't know if you can quite see. I don't think you can see the picture. Let me go and get the picture down.
Thank you.
Look at this quality bit of artwork. That is all done by Francesca, and she does all Arsenal work. So we've got a show. We're going to talk about Francesca's artwork and everything, and where she got involved in it. How come she's so talented? And we've also brought in the lovely Sophie, who it's always a pleasure. Sophie, how are you?
Good evening, everyone. Welcome, Francesca, you rock star. Lee, always love seeing you, mate. And I wore this just for you today. It's a vintage 1971. It's got the Arsenal emblazoned on the back.
That's
wore
very
that
cool.
Just for you today. Little retro sweatshirt here that I bought many years ago. Yes.
What do you guys think of the new black and gold training kit?
Oh,
yeah, everyone's salivating over it.
Can I go first?
Yeah, well, it's your show, mate.
I'm going to go first on this. I am a traditionalist. Love. I do like it, but that should be the third kit. What it should be is the yellow and blue as the second kit, and then they can do whatever they like with the third kit. But I do like it. Do you like it, girls? What do you think?
I think it's super cool.
I mean, look, black is always sexy. You can never go wrong with black and any accent colour with black. Unless it's black and red Manchester United, of course. It reminds me a lot of, I think there was an old Ajax kit, the LAFC kit reminds me of a lot. The pink, if a man can rock pink, then he's a real man, in my opinion. So I saw the pink one this morning. But I'm with you, Lee. The away kit for me always has to be... I even turned our show yellow and blue for Lee when he came on because it's his favourite mix. Yeah. And for me, it always has to be yellow and blue, the away kit, and that third kit, I agree with you. Transition between the pink and the black, but mucha money coming Adidas way.
Because like he grew up in the cup finals in the yellow and blue. I think that's what
so
done it
cool.
For me. It's such a cool kit, So, but could you imagine Kevin Campbell coming out in that pink kit?
Are you going to get one, Lee?
Yeah, I think we're getting one, with Campbell on the back. That'd be good, what I mean?
Campbell on the back.
Campbell on the back, but the letters should be "It's the players." So
yeah,
it's the right. The sleeve sponsor should be "It's the players." But the bruised banana, one of the most iconic kits, of course, is the blue and yellow, and the O2 kit, that away kit, the Invincible season, the blue and the yellow. Oh my gosh! And with the blue collar, so iconic. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah, that was iconic. I'm not a real collars person. I think that should be in a suit and tie, but not on a football pitch. But I did get that
kit as well.
I did like that. But yeah, that bruised banana one, I never liked that at first. when I first come out, I thought, "Oh, that ain't great," but it just grew on it, didn't it? Like, you know, now it's so iconic, like, you know. So
Yeah, it's one of the most iconic football kits of all time. There's no doubt about it. Yeah,
it was something different. It wasn't really nothing like that, was it? Until Arsenal done it. So, you know, setting trends again. We was back in the day. You can't stop the Arsenal, like, you know.
Lee, our football on the pitch is catching up to our kits and marketing. We're moving in. We're moving in the right direction,
and we're going to talk about that because you know, we're all Arsenal fans on here. But let's talk about this picture here. Look.
So good,
right?
Yeah.
Francesca, you are so talented. I'm so happy that we
come on.
discovered
So
you. Go on.
How did you get into all this? And let everybody know where they can get this stuff and what you do and all different things. This is your time now.
Yeah, so I think you're just showing one of my time lapses. I do artwork with paint and like on paper. I'm not very good at the digital stuff, but I do love all the digital Arsenal artwork out there. I think it's super sick. But anyway, so I've done art since I was really young. My dad's really good at art, and he paints like stage sets and things like that for like school plays. And ever since we were tiny, I've got a twin sister. He would give us like drawing lessons. So I'm really lucky to have done that. And then that developed like a love for drawing and art. And whenever I've had free time, it's just what I enjoy. And actually throughout my teenage years, I had a bit of a hard time with like bullying and mental health and stuff like that. And drawing was my escape. So I spend hours drawing, not trying to improve, but just doing it for fun and trying to get better. And that was kind of how I've got to where I am now, which is I feel a bit like quite confident in my drawing. And basically, I started dating someone, my boyfriend Alex, he's downstairs, who is just a lifelong Gooner Arsenal fan about 6-7 years ago. And he just indoctrinated me into being a massive Arsenal supporter. And then recently, like the two have collided. So my hobbies of drawing and art, and then like becoming a big Gooner maybe 4 or 5 years ago, I just thought like, how fun would it be to draw the team, start drawing pictures of the team. Like I love drawing portraits, and it's gone down like quite well on Twitter, and I love doing it. And I'll tell you a bit more about the big one. There's the original in a bit, but that's kind of a quick like rundown of how I've got where I am.
Lee.
Just looking at that.
It's amazing. It's like my mind's blown when I see it.
It's just mind blown just watching that Saka thing, how that come about there. That is so good.
They always look super dodgy at the beginning because like I just put on like some random colours and stuff, and then it sort of comes together.
I'll try and get Dave to do it again. He's doing another one. I think he's going to put another one up. But how do you get that good at doing something like that? That's incredible. Like, and it's the spitting image of him, isn't it?
It's like a photo. It's like a photo. The detail in his hair and the sweat is like unbelievable. I love the Martinelli one as well.
Yeah, I'm a massive perfectionist. I get it. They're like all of them are just a battle, like to try and get it as perfect as possible. So,
but Francesca, there's art. Yeah, that's a good question, Lee.
Yeah, you looking at a photograph as you're doing that?
Yes, yeah. But I have to choose a photograph that I sort of connect with. Like the main thing I try and do with it is like try and show the emotions through the players. So I really focus on their like expressions and trying to show like who they are. And I do that when I do like pet portraits and stuff. Like I'm about the emotional side of it. So I have to find a photo that I think is really inspiring and they look quite intense, and then I can get invested in it and try and get their expression just right.
It is beyond ridiculous how incredibly detailed those sketches are, and the minutiae involved in everything. Like there's really good art and there are really good artists, and then you can see something that just is a little bit separated and very, very special. I mean, I would love if Saka and Martinelli saw those, Lee. Yeah. I think their minds would be blown, don't you?
100%. My mind's blown just seeing that there. Do you imagine having that done of yourself? the thing is, we've got to get these out to these guys, haven't we? Like, do you know what I mean? I actually sit next to Saka's brother. If you want, Francesca, I can give that to their family. Like, if you want something like that.
Yeah, I've got the original. It's just sitting here. That would be such an honour if they like it.
Incredible. Look at the one there of Smith Rowe. Like, look at that.
I was worried.
I'm just look at that. Mind blowing how good they are. Like, you know what I mean? So, you know, this is something.
Lee, maybe with the Saka, or maybe with all of them, if they sign them or they want to keep them or whatever, but there's an opportunity to do something great for charity as well here. They're up for it.
I'll try and I'll talk to them at the next game and see if what we can do. Like, do you know what I mean? Because that is just it's just incredible. These things. This is why we wanted to do this for me, because obviously I've known Francesca to see these photos. I think you just got to get them out for the Arsenal fans, because these are great presents and great things that they could have, you know, on your offices, or, you know, it's just like having a photo, isn't it? It's just incredible. It's absolutely mind blowing.
Yeah, the time lapses make it a bit more like special, I think, as well, showing that it's done by a person. But thank you so much, like, for your kind words. I nearly teared up then. Like, it means so much to me, this art, and the fact that you guys like it. And because I spent so many hours just doing it alone in my room, like, whilst terrible stuff was going on, like at school and stuff, and I would just hide in my art, and it means so much to me. And to hear you guys say that
from this, I can tell you that now. Like, you know, we're going to get all this out there, and you know, get you going, because you know, I just think, like, I'm pretty sure when people watch the show and everything like that, they're going to be blown away from it. I'm blown away with the picture that I've got. Some of the, you know, the fantastic Arsenal players and the in depth, you know, like everything's like put into place, perfection. You know what I mean? Whether it be what era, what player, Fabregas, for instance, or Thierry Henry, it's all done perfectionly, like, you know. So
I can tell you about it. I've got the original here.
Yeah, come on, let's talk about
hold
that.
Hold up, one sec. I've got a messy one here as well. I can show you in a bit. But this is the original, and it is massive. But you know, we were talking about iconic kits and stuff.
Yep.
Basically, it took me about 100 hours. Each player took like 3 or 4 hours, and it was maybe more. Because basically my boyfriend commissioned it for me. He thought it would be amazing, and he didn't. I don't think either of us realized how long it would take. But yeah, I did like every, like, red is I did like the right color tone, like, for the kit of that season. And all the different sponsors and stuff, like the different badges, and yeah, so it's all those details you were talking about, like the JVC, things like that. All the different colours are done, and while I was doing it, I was learning, like, a lot more about these players and, like, the history of Arsenal, which I'd only really known from doing the stadium tour and, like, bits and bobs from my boyfriend. But actually doing the painting made me appreciate, like, where the club's been and all these great players and stuff. I'm so glad you like it. It took so long.
I was just having a look at the Aaron Ramsey one. Do you remember when Aaron Ramsey scored? I think when he scored at Wembley against Spurs, and he was pointing down, "This is my turf," and all that. Do you remember that? Like, it's very, very iconic.
I didn't see that. So
see, like, yeah. So yeah. So
Love it.
Yeah, they're all iconic.
Load of them.
They're all iconic, like, goal celebrations they did.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, which Alex, my boyfriend, chose. So yeah, each one, I suppose, when you look at it, is meant to take you back to that moment.
So we've got to thank Alex in a way for this as well, then, really, haven't we? Because if it wasn't for Alex and you meeting Alex, we wouldn't be getting all these fantastic bits of art, really. So big up Alex, like, you know.
Well done, Alex. Well done.
You know,
you'll make
he's there. Sorry.
Love it. You know what, Francesca? There's if you opened it up to Arsenal fans, I'm sure that the Thierry Henry slide against Tottenham, of obviously the iconic statue, Michael Thomas 89. You have got so much to work with, because we've had some major iconic moments, right? Lee Alan Sunderland versus Man United in the FA FA Cup back in the day. I mean, we're so lucky as a club to have all of these historical moments. You know, sometimes people mistake our current status in the Premier League over the last few years versus the fact that we're still a big club. We just haven't done big things in the Premier League in the last few years.
Might be
So
changing
what you could
soon.
do is what's they call it, like, you know, get all these pictures and like do loads and loads of them and do it in a little gallery thing or something like that, and get all the Arsenal fan base to come and buy them and whatever. You guaranteed selling them.
But there's lots of different Arsenal artists. Like we could all set up, because I know Ruth Beck.
Yeah.
There's
Set
a whole.
it all up together.
Ruth.
That would be fantastic, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
like,
big up Ruth Beck. Go and follow her. She does awesome paintings of like Highbury and things like that. But if we could do a little Arsenal artist gallery thing, and then proceeds go to like the Arsenal Foundation, something, or Ukraine or mental health charities, that would be amazing.
Yeah, the Gooners versus Cancer charity.
Yes,
That's become a big part of the community. There's lots of people that can benefit from something like that. Maybe we'll get our friends at the Hippodrome involved, Lee. We can do something.
We can sort it out. I think that'd be fantastic because, you know, like for me, I'm blown away by it all. Like, and being a massive Arsenal fan, so you've got me straight away, and that's what Arsenal fans are like, you know. So, you know, I can imagine if someone got that for a birthday present or a Christmas present, they'd be more than happy with that, wouldn't they? More than happy, you know.
I'm ready, Lee. You want to buy me one for Chris? So go on, Lee. No, go ahead. No problem.
Christmas presents are going to be easy.
You need to give me your address, though. If I said I'd send you one.
Francesca, if you send those time-lapse videos to me, I'll put them on the show tonight. I'll put both of them up. Put both of them up on the Highbury squad tonight. No problem. Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely awesome. Like, you know what I mean? So right. So so we've got all this like some. Do you do other art as well, or is it just all Arsenal stuff?
That's funny. So I've been stuck like the last couple of years. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely love it doing like pet portraits while I was at uni, which is amazing. Like the customers were so nice and stuff, but I love drawing like people portraits, and I was doing different kinds of dogs, rabbits, like making kind of a living through uni. But yeah, so I'm good at animals as well, and I've done a car recently, but I love drawing people. So, yeah, trying to get their emotions.
It's unreal, like. So, and you said you got a sister. Is she good at art as well? Is she as good as you, or?
She is actually. Well, our surname is Sini, which I think it was originally like French or something. So I'm Francesca Sini, and she's Charlotte Sini, and so we decided to try and do art together, like during COVID. And so that's why it was called Sini Sketches and not like Fran's drawings. But after about a week, she just bailed. The pressure got to her, and she went, "No, I can't do it." And she's really good at art. And I keep saying like, well, she keeps saying like, our business is doing so well when she hasn't done a painting for about 2 years.
Gotta love that.
You got to love that. There's always one, isn't there? One in the family, isn't there? Like, you know.
She's so good as well, though. It's a shame. But
so where can everybody get to you and get all your stuff? So this is the moment when you've got to plug everything you can. We'll put all the links in the description at the bottom, and that David do all that. But where people can get you, where can they purchase these things? And say if they want something, what do they do? Say if I wanted, I don't know, who could I say? Patrick Vieira lifting the FA Cup all the time.
I want to do Vieira soon, especially now he's got in the Premier League Hall of Fame.
You take requests and things like that as well. So go on, where do you get all your stuff? And
right. So I'm mainly active on Twitter at the moment. I was on Facebook before. I'm a bit of a boomer, and then my boyfriend was saying like, you need to get on Twitter. So yeah, I'm at Sini Sketches on Twitter, and I do posts saying like, who should I draw next, and people comment, and I do polls as well. And yeah, so that's a good way to get in touch with me. I've also, the main place where you can buy prints is on my Etsy store. So that's at Sini Sketches again, which you can basically find me by that name on anything. But I do like mugs. What's been really popular is mugs of the Arsenal Legends painting. So yeah, this one's the Arsenal Legends painting, and they come on little mugs, and they've been going really well. And I do kind of different sized frames, prints. Once I've done a few more of these, the kind of headshots, these are the original ones. I'm going to kind of compile them into like a 9-person poster as well. But yeah, there's stuff on there from like a tenner to up to like 40, 50 quid. So there's kind of the mugs are I think £12, so they're quite affordable as well. And I'd really appreciate it if any of you guys could help out, or want to check out my store and things like that. Yeah, I never thought. Sorry to go on. I never thought.
Carry on.
I never thought that art would be like a full-time thing for me, because I always just did it like for fun, and it only started during COVID. Like one person asked me, because they knew I could draw. One person like asked me to draw their horse. Shout out to Sophia. And then I started getting more messages of like, can you draw my dog? Draw this. And I was like, oh my god, like I'm making money doing my art, which I'd never even thought about. Like I went to uni to do music. And I just thought like art was like just something fun, but like since then I realized that people wanted to see it, and yeah, now I've combined it with the Arsenal stuff. I just feel really fortunate.
There's nothing like turning your passion into your profession. It's the
even
greatest
thought of it.
gift.
Yeah, totally agree. Like, you know, and you know, long may it continue. I think it will now. Like, you know, for you.
I can't thank you enough. I really can't. Your shows
are. I just think like I'm you know, I'm a what they call it. I'm a connoisseur of all sorts of things, and like, you know, and but Arsenal art is definitely one of them. Like, you know, and I just mind blowing that you can get, you know, these guys. They've got these pictures, and you know, I think they love them as well. Like, do you know what I mean? So
I really hope they'll see them one day. That'll be
they will.
They will.
It's coming. It's the next. It's the next frontier.
It's the next stage, and the greatest thing is, as Sophie said, you can go back and do, you know, in time and put like the great Arsenal players, you know, George Graham, like, you know, that era, like the Paul Mersons of this world, and the Ian Wrights and Kevin Campbells and things like that, and there'll always be people that want that sort of stuff. Then they remember, you know, to remember what it was like to be an Arsenal fan back in the day and everything like that.
You do that Ian Wright 179 moment. Ian will like he'll fall. Yeah, I mean, you know, there's so many really supportive players, right? And Lee, there's no greater supporter of the Arsenal men and women than Ian Wright.
Yeah, I'm doing some of the women's team too.
Yeah, well, yeah. Do the women's
nice
team
Miedemar and
and yeah, I just think it's a wonderful thing, like, you know. So good, big up to Alex. So Alex is the reason you're an Arsenal fan, like, you know. So got to ask the question, like, you know, who is your favourite player?
You know what? I'm a bit biased actually towards Ramsdale, because I was like a regional like Southwest hockey goalkeeper, and now I play 6-a-side goalkeeper with my friends. So I know, like, I can really appreciate like what he does and his presence and stuff, because I'm sort of a goalie as well. I think he's just incredible. So it's got to be Ramsdale for me. But what about you guys? Could you pick a favourite? If it's like the current squad, are we doing current squad?
Yeah, current squad. So go on, Sophie. Who are you going for?
I do apologise. My gardener just showed up, so if you hear a lawnmower in the background,
I hear it.
You know what I love about you know what I love about the current squad is, and what's happening at the Arsenal is, how long has it been since we Gooners have had a pickle when going to buy our shirt and which player name we want to put on the back of the shirt? You know, I've been. It's like, is it Ramsdale? Is it Gabriel? Is it Tierney? Is it Partey? Is it Martinelli? Is it Saka, Emil Smith-Rowe, Tomiyasu? When was the last time, Lee, this happened? It has been years and years. There were players we respected. You know, Santi we respected, of course. You know, I think even though Cech came from Chelsea, he was a very respectable guy in terms of like that modern Arsenal and the last, you know, few players that we've had in that era. Ozil, of course, was beloved when he first came to the club. Sanchez, the same. But this is a different situation altogether.
100%. Like, you know, it's a great question. I think you've got to go back to when Arsenal were obviously winning trophies and things like that. Fabregas, I think was probably the last iconic one of like that. I think Rosicky was one where I think was a lot. But, you know, you had the Omri, Vieiras, Bergkamp. And then
Van Persie for a while, of course, was beloved, and he blew that.
Got to mention him as well, like, you know. But then you go back. I have to say that I didn't feel was a great connection with all of those players, even back in that sort of time, because even the Vieiras, and because I think it was just a little bit different, was changing a little bit. But I do feel that there's been a conscious effort from the players and the managers to get that connection back, like it used to be. You know, I'll be honest, and I've said this many a times that you know, back in the Ian Wright, Kevin Campbell days, Paul Merson and all that, like, you're in awe of all those sort of people. You know, I met, fortunate enough to meet Anders Limpard on Monday, and you don't really know what to say to them because you're a little bit in awe of, because they were that so great and all that. Like, and then if one of the current, you know, like the batch that have just gone, sort of, I wouldn't even go and say hello to them. Do you know what I mean? Like, I lost that connection with the players, but now it's back. You know, if you were to see Smith Rowe or Saka, Martinelli, you know, they're exciting players, but they've also got that connection, as Francesca just said there. You know, I was speaking to a fella yesterday. When Arsenal score, the first person he looks at is Ramsdale to see what he's doing. You know what I mean? Like that's the connection that we sort of got again. Like, you know, and you think, like, well, fantastic, we're celebrating a goal, and we're looking at what our goalkeeper's doing. Like,
the moment with him and Leno as well. That really won me over, you know.
Oh yeah, that was fantastic, wasn't it? Like, you know, to see that, like, and so I'm with you guys on this. It's a really difficult one. If I had to push myself for one, I would have to
Saka's
say
up there.
I'd say Martinelli, but then I feel guilty that I've left out
the others.
And, you know, so I just feel like Martinelli because he. I'm going to say Martinelli because I think that his mental strength to come from Brazil at a young age and come over and do what he's doing, you know, like Smith Rowe and Saka got their families around them all the time and everything like that. So for me, I'm going to go for Martinelli, but I feel really guilty if I say that. Like, do you know when one of them play? Like, do you know, like Smith Rowe's been left out of the team for the last couple of games? Not that you necessarily forget him, because you don't, but then he comes in and plays against Aston Villa, and he's my favourite. He's my favourite.
It's like, great, you know, isn't it?
Yeah,
I think, so as a whole, like their mentality seems to be like incredible, especially for like Leno. You see like him not even playing like most of the season, and like Smith Rowe when they've come off and coming like bouncing back from like the setbacks and defeats. It's amazing. I don't know how Arteta's done it, but like I felt so positive for the first time in years that like I know they're not gonna drop their heads. They're gonna give 100% to the final whistle, when, you know, old Arsenal would have just like capitulated and that sort of thing. That's why.
That's a great point, Francesca, because the player DNA, so Arteta's job has been made a little bit easier because the character and the personality of these players is totally different. Like Ramsdale would be the same guy if he was at Everton. Benjamin White would be the same guy if he was at any other club. Tomiyasu, the DNA and the profile and the character of the players, which you have to give Edu and Arteta credit for in identifying and finding to rebuild our culture, has been the game-changing moment for the club, right? So
it's really clever. Yeah.
Now it would be a shame to not build on that and allow that to nurture and grow. Similarly, like when you have Alexis Sanchez and Santi and Ozil in a team, but you don't buy a defensive midfielder and you don't go and invest in really good centre-backs and you don't go out and buy that prolific goal. We cannot do that again with this crop of players, because even when you look at the summer signings, then you look at Martinelli, 8 million euros, I think that was, that we got him for. Saka coming through Hayland, Emile Smith-Rowe, the same, Tierney, kind of growing and evolving into the team. Thomas Partey now the player that we all thought that he would become and has become at the Arsenal. The confidence that he has grown. Now, I've been a huge critic of Arteta for his first two seasons, finishing eighth, and getting us kicked out of Europe. But when you now see him with the season where he's got his players, he's doing a really good job, but also the player profile and DNA is totally the opposite to Kolasinac, to Mustafi, to Sokratis. Sokratis, I'll give him a little bit of a break, not because I'm Greek, but I think he did try a little bit harder than some of the others towards the end. Bellerin, who, yes, through injuries, his form fell, but I think towards the end, he kind of gave up too. These players fight for the squad. And you mentioned, Francesca, that moment between Ramsdale and Leno. Even after the Wolves game, the moment between Ramsdale and White, where he's grabbing Ben White's shirt and they're like screaming in the air. Like, you feel that they care the way we do.
Yeah.
And that's the difference, Lee. That's the biggest difference.
It's a great point. Do you know what? That is, I feel that, say if Arsenal were, we're probably going to lose somewhere along the line. Of course we are. But like, if we did lose, you'd feel like, as Francesca said, like, at least they'd give it their all. There were times you come out of the ground thinking they've given up, or they don't care about it as much as us, And I think that's one thing that, as a fan, that's the one thing you want.
Yeah.
Care. You know what I mean? That the players care. You can see that they care. And I think that I think you have to give Mikel Arteta credit for that, because what he's done is he's identified these sort of players, to do that. I think Ben White, by the way, is he the best looking central defender in the world at this moment in time?
Well, I mean, even though I bat for the other side, I have to say that he is quite the human specimen, isn't he? How does he look so tanned living in London?
The sunbed.
I think he must have had he was definitely, when he went to Dubai the other day, he was out there from as soon as the sun was out, So, but I remember he took his, I think it was it the Villa game? He took his shirt off, and there was a few like women in front, and they were going mad over it, So, but honestly, how well has he improved? I think I watched him yesterday play for England, accomplished right back. I'll tell you something now. I guarantee, I now know that the press do not like Arsenal, right? And I'll tell you why, because I thought Ben White done really well in the first half. Nothing special. Didn't have to do anything special. He got 5 out of 10 on the players' ratings. Everybody else got 6 and 7. And Ben White on his own got 5. And I just thought, that's typical. Do you know what? Let's have it.
You know what, Lee? And he showed his versatility, 100% correct. That's one of the subjects on the show tonight, is about Benjamin White, and is he the most improved player at the Arsenal so far this season?
Brilliant.
Imagine the pressure he came in, 50 million, right? Everyone was on his back. He's rubbish in the air. But what he's shown is, when you got Gabriel, who's a beast in the air, Arteta's looking for balance, right? He wants a ball-playing player like Benjamin to bring the ball out the back, and he does it really well. I mean, the way he spreads the ball, his passing, I think, isn't recognised enough. And Lee and Francesca, when you think about it, he was asked to adapt by Gareth Southgate. When you think about our right back situation, Tommy, how's he doing? How's the injury? Cedric, is he going to be able to hold? Benjamin can play that role. Holding can come into the back. I mean, he's shown his versatility, and I think he's earned his stripes.
He earned his stripes for me, I think, when we've gone down to 10 men, and they are sat back, and he's there. He's making like the key headers, clearing it.
He's had to defend when it's mattered in games like that. He's had to defend. And what I like about Ben White is that there's a stage of a game where we're on top, as whatever, and then there's that stage of 10-15 minute spell where we come under pressure, because that's what football, all teams are going to have a little spell. In the past, our defenders are panicked about that spell of 15 minutes. He brings it on and says, right, okay, I can defend. I like that he's got a little bit of devil in him as well, and that. And I just think that I think he's been and I'm so pleased. He's playing really, really well now. That was his first time back in the England shirt, so since signing for Arsenal, and he done really, really well. So, well pleased.
I think I would put that down again to like the mentality that Arteta or whoever's responsible has fostered, in that they want to prove the critics wrong. I would be controversial and say Xhaka's been playing much better. You can see him pulling out of like tackles that you would have made before, and it's that wanting to improve and wanting to prove people wrong and wanting to do better for the club, the coach. It's just, it's got to be applauded.
You know,
Yeah,
sorry,
with
Lee,
you
go on.
No, I'm with that on Xhaka. I
Yeah.
think that like let's get it right. Look at Gareth Southgate yesterday, going on about
Maguire.
Maguire and all the bit. Like Granit Xhaka. Yeah, I know. Get. Xhaka's had that most of his Arsenal career. Like, let's be honest, he's not a fan's favourite, but he rolls his sleeves up. He don't care about it. I'm not saying that. I do think we need to upgrade on him, if I'll be honest. But what he does, he does a job in the Arsenal team. When he's not there, we're not as good. It's as simple as that, And again, he's one of these players that I've seen Arsenal bullied for a very, very long time in midfield. We play bullied all the time. You ain't bullying him. Whatever you think about him, you're not bullying him, and I like that.
Yeah.
And we need players like, okay, Xhaka isn't so smart with his shithousery, right? Whereas Ramsdale and Benjamin White are. Kieran Tierney is. He's great at it. He does all the talk. He gives it a little bit like a NBA basketball player. And I think that's really important to have when West Ham are posting about Benjamin White is he the most annoying player in the Premier League or West Ham fan groups. That is a great thing. I absolutely love it. Bring it on. Let that evolve even more so,
Even more annoying.
And actually, if you ask, I think it's a great point about Xhaka. And also, if you ask Brighton fans and Leeds fans about White, they'll tell you how they felt about him when he was there and the contributions that he had made to both of those teams. But it's amazing, isn't it, when you look at the evolution of a player. I stood by Xhaka when he threw the shirt down, and a few people that we had on the show did not, and a lot of people have wanted him out. And then I really did give him a hard time at the start of the year, because I just think when you're the captain of Switzerland and you've been the captain of the Arsenal and you're one of the senior players, you're getting sent off here, there and everywhere, making terrible decisions. You're supposed to be like the guiding light on the pitch that everyone says you are in the dressing room for the likes of Saka, Emile Smith-Rowe and Martinelli, and lead by example. And I think that's where my frustration and a lot of Arsenal fans' frustration came with Xhaka, is keep it here. And somehow in the last few games, guys, he's been able to manage that a lot better.
You can see it. Like I was watching one of the matches, I can't remember, where you see him like actually thinking like, I'm not going to go in right now, and like he's really like changing like how aggressively he'll go into tackle.
I think that was a game against Wolves. He got booked, didn't he? I
think he was on a yellow.
And we needed
scary.
and you're thinking, right, he's going to be the one to be sent off and all that. But he didn't. He kept his head, kept it well, and done really well. And I'll tell you what, the game against Aston Villa, was that the game where he got booked for his first tackle? It wasn't even a booking, and he turned around and said to him, you've done 3 fouls, which he hadn't done. He lost it for a couple of minutes in there and then he's done that. You won there. But he kept his cool. And so maybe he is learning. It took him 6 years, but maybe he is learning.
But Lee, that doesn't mean he's the answer long term. Here's the thing with the Arsenal. We need to get through the next 10 games. Is it 10? Yeah. 10 games with knowing the fact that Xhaka isn't the long-term answer if we really want to be much more robust, competitive, play a little bit more modernly through the midfield to keep up with the Joneses in the Premier League. We know what we get with him, and we know that he's not the answer. But for now, the partnership with him and Thomas Partey is the most important thing to get us through the next 10 games, as is the partnership with Gabriel and White, and as is the importance of Saka still getting goals, Ødegaard shooting a little bit more, Emile Smith-Rowe, whether he comes off the bench or starts, continues to score. The same thing with Martinelli. But that partnership for now is fundamentally important to us making top 4, but it doesn't mean he's the long-term answer going forward.
Yeah, I just thought you should get props where it's due for reining it in recently. Sorry, Lee, you were going to say something.
No, I was just going to say, what are our feelings of? Do we think we'll get top 4? What are we confident, or are we still a little bit nervous?
I was listening to, was it? I can't remember which streamer. It might have been Curtis Shaw, actually, like looking at the games we had, and I think it was something like we could afford to lose like up to 2 of them, and still like be there having like weighed up. But if we carry on as we're going, I think we'll make it minus a breakdown, like 7 injuries. I think if all continues the direction that it is, then we should be okay. But what do you guys think?
I think that we have to get at least 7 points from the Palace, Southampton and Brighton games. Because what comes next is Manchester United, Chelsea, West Ham, at some point the North London derby. You've got a Leeds team that are battling for their lives, and you've got a Newcastle team that is resurgent with their January signings, and Eddie Howe's doing a really good job there. The easiest game we'll probably have is at home to Everton. We usually win that game. And let's hope that the away game at Old Trafford, the away game at Goodison Park does not come back to bite us in the backside, because you know, you can say what you want about Man United. We should have gone in for the kill at Old Trafford. We had them on the ropes, but we let them back in. That night at Goodison was just one of the worst games I've seen under Arteta's team. So to get the points in against Palace, Southampton and Brighton, those winnable games, even Southampton are a bit of a bogey team for us. That's potentially a banana skin game. But those 3 games, we cannot afford to lose. I don't think not one of them, because as good as we've been against Chelsea under the new manager since Mourinho has left, you know, Tuchel's a different beast. But at the same time, I think that's of the bigger club games. For some reason, I feel confident that that's the one that we could potentially win. And the North London derby, Lee and Francesca, there's a reason they haven't scheduled that yet. If it could come down to that, it could come down to that.
Yeah, it could come down. I think these next 3 games are vital. I really do. I think we've got to get 9 points from them. I think we've got to win all of these games. If we win those 3 games, and hopefully, like along the lines, Tottenham and Man United may have dropped a couple more points. I think then we're in a much position.
Tottenham's got an easier run in though.
They have got an easier run in, but
they've got Liverpool. That's their toughest game. Is Liverpool.
Got Liverpool in there. They've got a tough game this week. Newcastle at home, depending on what Newcastle come to the plate. They've been in good form lately, so I think it's these next 3 games. If we get 9 points from that will be we then go into those games with a little bit of where we can relax a bit. Like, not saying like we can just go out there, but we can just go, look, well, if things don't go well, it ain't the end of the world. But if we're here and we've lost a couple or we haven't got the points that we should have, then it puts a lot more pressure on it. So I think it's a big month. I think April now for us. I think that defensively we're very, very sound as well. Like, you know, so it'd be interesting.
And Lee, after having so many breaks in between games, April becomes a very condensed schedule. You know, and our team hasn't really faced that type of intensity for a while now. You know, there's 3 games in between the Chelsea game and the United game, I think, and it's going to be intense. And this is where we're going to learn a lot about this Mikel Arteta squad, because it's all well and good beating these other teams that we know we should be beating. After 2 years in charge, now's the time to really show your Arsenal evolution/revolution is in play. And if he goes out and he beats these teams and we end up finishing 4th, another subject on the show tonight is, should Mikel Arteta be in the conversation? This is coming from someone who's heavily criticised him, be considered for manager of the season. There is no pundit, no media person that had the Arsenal finishing in the top 4. There are a lot of Arsenal fans that didn't have the Arsenal finishing in the top 4. We were talking to Adam Catterall last night, and he said that he thinks we've been overachieving, but he likes what he's seeing. He loves what Mikel's doing. So my biggest concern is if we end up not finishing in the Champions League spot, but we finish in the Europa League spot, that the sky will fall with some fans. Whereas I think the goal is just get back into Europe, dangle European football in front of, potential transfers. Look, we signed Aubameyang, Lacazette, Thomas Partey, Gabriel, Kieran Tierney with Europa League football. Why? Because it's a vehicle back potentially into the Champions League. So for us, it's really important to at least not fall out of that top 5 spot at all.
Yeah, I think that's. I think what will, if we don't get top 4, I think we'll get Europa League. I think that will happen. But obviously we want to be in with a big thing. And unfortunately, if we don't make it, it means them down the road. I think would take that, and that will make it even tougher.
I think obviously I'm an Arsenal fan, but I think we deserve it. Like for the, as I said, the mentality that these guys have shown and bouncing back from these setbacks and things like that, and like being such a good group of lads. But I'm very biased. I need a bit more realism, I think, like you, Sophie. I was so Arteta out, and just like recently seeing all the team, like their celebrations and stuff. I'm completely on the train. I'm on the bandwagon.
But Francesca, I think it's okay to look when you finish 8th as Arsenal, and you finish 8th again. And as bad as Emery was, he still had us in that top 5. He got us to a final of a European, trophy. Arteta, his FA Cup love coupons lasted a long time, and for a lot of Arsenal fans, they never expired, right? But now we're seeing what he's been able to do with the evolution and the transition he's made. But at the time, to criticise was okay. Don't be abusive, don't be a bully. But if you say what you see based on how you feel, then I don't think there's a problem with that at all, and now there are many fans that want to say, was someone like you or me are flip-floppers. Even Lee's had that thrown at him. I don't see... Yeah. Football is not... That's not how it works.
No.
There are a lot... There are a lot of people I can point the finger out that wanted Wenger and bullied Wenger out of the club. There are so many people that bullied Unai Emery and wanted him out of the club. But with Arteta, there's this polarizing conversation and discussion throughout like the last year and a half or so. If you feel one way, you're a hater. If you feel another way, you're X, Y, and Z. What about it just being, I love my club, I say what I see, and if he succeeds, we succeed. And that's really all you want at the end of the day. But to give your opinion on something shouldn't be criticized, or lambasted in any way.
And exactly, and football fans are fickle. I said that, you know what I mean? Like, if you're winning, you're happy. If you lose, you're not, like, So listen, I go back to that Everton game. We just spoke about. I didn't see us coming back from that. If someone would have said to me, I think even the biggest Mikel fans, and I know a few that are my mates and all that, they were thinking, I can't see no way back after that Everton game. And if one of them would have turned around at me and said, listen, we'd be 4th and we'd be all going this, and they'll all be like, Ben White would be playing for England and Ramsdale will be pushing this and that and whatever, and we'd be playing fantastic football, and we'd get rid of Aubameyang as well, like, from that equation, and we'd be where we are. I would have said you're mad. You're mad. I'll never see this happening. I never see the change about of it all. And this is where I feel now, from my point of view and all that. Please, Mikel, nail it now, because I don't want people going, I told you so. Like, this is what you had. Nail it. I want Mikel now to go through and now breeze us into top 4 and go, do you know what? Then everybody has got to say, do you know what? Hands up. He's done the business.
It's like, we know the team will try, though, which I'm confident about, but it's about the managerial decisions, the substitutions, things like that. That's what does get me a bit nervous. Like, does he have the experience to be able to...
Totally going to be key. I watched Lacazette against Aston Villa completely out on his feet. He was gone.
Yeah.
And that was with about 70 minutes gone, and we played, the 3 games that we played are not going to be the 3 games of the intensity of what we're going to go through with Chelsea, Manchester United, those sort of games now, so it's going to be a little bit of management from Mikel. He's going to have to rotate very, very cleverly, and it's going to be a lot of focus on him, if I'll be honest. So it'd be really interesting to see what happens.
And if it doesn't work, and Lacazette, it does get shattered. He knows it's going to come back on him about not signing a striker in January.
Exactly. We don't want none of that.
He's another player who has just been professional Think about Aubameyang's behaviour versus Lacazette. Lacazette may or may not be staying at the club, but he's acting like a professional. He's doing his job. And I know some Arsenal fans think, he doesn't score enough, but that's not his role also. Of course, he needs to score. But in this particular team, for Arteta and the way we play, he offers that Bobby Firmino role. And I'm not saying he's the same level of talent, but when you have Salah and Mane either side, you're okay. It's a little bit harder for Lacazette. But the way he holds up the ball, the way he integrates play, the way he opens up channels, for the players on the flanks, what he does and what he brings to the team, I think sometimes is very underappreciated.
Yeah.
But if Saka and Emile Smith-Rowe and Martinelli are scoring goals and you win games, who cares whether Lacazette or whoever is scoring them? And one more thing before I just wanted to say lastly, Lee, is in January when we had a break, Mikel Arteta, and again, sometimes Kev says your humble pie's bacon. I'm like, I'll eat it with all the whipped cream on top. I have no problem with that. He could have let the players go off and do their thing. But what did he do? He set up a camp in Dubai, right? Recently, Manchester United, who you could argue need a camp, need to keep their players together somehow to rile themselves up, get themselves going again, all went off and did their own things. Now, players can do what they want with their money at any given time. You want to go enjoy a fight, go do it. You want to go on holiday, go do it. But the mentality of the new Arsenal, what he's infusing in the expectations of winning, that's the trait I really believe he's garnered from Pep Guardiola. Not Arsene Wenger, because Arsene Wenger was too lax with his players. He gave them too much freedom. But that type of mentality shows you, will that camp be the nucleus to how the team sticks together, believes in each other? That I think was indicative of the new Arsenal Football Club and the culture that he's trying to build.
It's a great point and very clever as well what he done, because he said, look, you can go and have an holiday, but out in Dubai, you know what I mean? Like when then we're going into camp. So they had a couple of days to just relax and whatever, but they was all in the same sort of environment, weren't they? You know what I mean? It was a little bubble. It was very, very careful. It was calculated. And then they got some work done and all that, so very, very, very clever.
We can't understate the importance of the bonding within the team and getting to know each other, spending time around each other. That camp reminds me of, when a work team, in an office, goes on a business bonding trip to improve their performance, learn teamwork and stuff. That's what it reminds me of. And as you said, very clever.
Yeah, I imagine they have fun. They're all young, that's the other key thing. They're all the same sort of age and things like that, so they can bond and everything like that. And listen, we're coming to the end now, so we've had some fantastic conversations and all that, so I want to just thank you, Francesca, for coming on today and doing your stuff. And
I've been a bit starstruck, not going to lie. I've forgotten everything I know about Arsenal.
No worries.
But I'd love to come on again.
I'll definitely have you on again, and you just keep drawing about the Arsenal. You ain't got to worry about anything else.
I can't wait. I'm doing Ramsdale next.
We'll look forward to that one, So thanks for coming on. And listen, if you want a picture or whatever, get in contact with Francesca, and I'm pretty sure you can take it because it's.
And thank you for coming on too, Soph. I asked Lee if you could come on because I was nervous.
Yeah,
I love that you did that, and it means the world to me, and you absolutely smashed it. And I can't wait to see you grow and evolve. We're going to do everything to continue supporting you in the community. Well done, Francesca. You got nothing to be nervous about. Keep doing your thing. No fear.
Okay. Before we go, just shout out to Alex. Who's his favourite player? We want to know who Alex's favourite player is.
Alex, are you watching? Wait, Alex.
Alex.
Come here.
We
Put
want
the
to know
kettle on.
Who's your favourite player? Did you hear that?
No.
Saka.
Saka.
Sorry.
Isn't that great? We've all got different favourite players. That's what it's all about, isn't it? You know what I mean? So we go from there, So thanks for everybody for joining. Look, just as I haven't plugged in my computer, so I might lose whatever now. So I'm all excited about these pictures and all that, So thanks for everybody for joining in. Thanks to Francesca. Thank you, Sophie, for coming on and helping out, And we go now to Monday. Good luck to the Arsenal. Let's hope we can beat Palace, and we can go from there. So thank you for watching, and over and out.